Today, I want to dive into Mossad's secret mission, how Israel took down Nasrallah, a gripping and controversial narrative that touches on espionage, battlefield strategy, intelligence networks, and the geometry of power in the Middle East. As we go through this, I'll mix explanation, critique, and context, so you as viewers get a sense of not just what is claimed in the work, but why it matters and where its strengths and weaknesses lie. From the outset, this book sets an audacious premise that Israel, via its intelligence agencies and covert operatives, executed a mission so clandestine and precise that it undermined Hezbollah's central command by targeting its leader, Hassan Nasrallah. The title suggests drama, secret mission, took down Nasrallah, that implies a high-stakes infiltration, stealth operations, perhaps betrayal, and a lethal strike. The narrative promises to weave between geopolitical motives, intelligence gathering, human agents, and the lethal tools that finish the story. What follows is an attempt to unpack that promise, how the story is structured, how persuasive its evidence is, what assumptions it makes, and how it fits or clashes with known public reports. The author begins by sketching the stakes. Hezbollah is not just another militant group. It's deeply embedded in Lebanese society. It commands a large arsenal of rockets and drones. It has political wings, and it has deep ties to Iran. Nasrallah, its leader, has long been a strategic symbol to his followers, a revolutionary leader. To his adversaries, an eternal target cloaked in shadows. To defeat Hezbollah's command framework, the book argues, one must first dismantle the command itself. Taking down Nasrallah is not merely a tactical kill. It's meant to shatter the myth, disrupt coordination, unsettle morale. Early chapters focus on the intelligence environment. This includes the signals intelligence, SIGINT, and human intelligence Israel had to cultivate over years inside Lebanon, Iran, and within Hezbollah's own ranks. The book describes how Israel's intelligence agencies, including Mossad and perhaps Unit 8200, the signals intelligence arm, gradually inserted assets, intercepted communications, and monitored movements. Behind those discrete references is a vast infrastructure: satellites, cyber espionage, double agents, covert monitoring of key leaders' communications, and infiltration in dense urban environments. One particularly striking thread is the role of deception. The book argues that to isolate Nasrallah from his security networks, Israel had to mask its intentions, feed misleading signals, and strike in a manner that would seem, to Hezbollah's leadership, improbable. Thus, when the operation unfolded, Nasrallah and his circle believed such a direct residential or underground strike would be beyond Israel's reach or restraint. As the narrative progresses, the book reconstructs, step by step, the final mission: the infiltration into the Dahi suburb, a Hezbollah stronghold in southern Beirut, slipping through narrow alleyways under fire, planting guiding beacons or sensors inside a high-rise structure, concealing underground Hezbollah bunker, coordinating with Israeli air support, and finally detonating bunker buster munitions with precise timing. That strike, the book claims, eliminated Nasrallah, his inner circle, and hundreds of militants. The bunker was destroyed, communications lines severed, and Hezbollah's coherence was shattered. One of the most compelling claims is that the success of the mission hinged on years of patient work. The operation was not a single explosive punch, but a culmination of methodical infiltration. The author highlights how Israeli operatives had to physically plant devices that would guide bombs deep underground into rocky terrain and ensure that even a 1-meter deviation would not let Hezbollah escape. The complexity of that technological and logistical choreography is one of the book's gripping strengths. But while the narrative is thrilling, it also raises many questions. How much of the mission as described is confirmed by independent sources? To what degree is the author relying on insider leaks, classified documents, or second-hand testimonies? Are alternate versions of what happened plausible? Did Hezbollah really let its guard down so far? Or were there structural vulnerabilities we're missing? When I cross-referenced public reporting, I found elements that align and elements that diverge. For example, some news articles report that Israeli operatives infiltrated Harat Hreik in Beirut under bombardment and placed guiding devices above Hezbollah's bunker to allow precise airstrikes, claims very similar to those in the book. Those articles say the Israeli Air Force dropped dozens of bombs. Some reports suggest 83 heavy munitions targeting an underground command hub. Some reports also emphasize the destruction of residential structures around the target and substantial casualties. They mention a deeply penetrated intelligence operation and the involvement of an Iranian or internal mole providing information just before the strike. The public reports lend plausibility to several elements of the book's narrative, but they also highlight uncertainties. Casualty counts vary. The exact layout of the underground bunker is still debated. How Israel avoided causing notice or counterdetectors inside a hostile stronghold is not fully explained in open sources. Another dimension the book explores is internal Israeli deliberations, the moral, political, and strategic debates inside Israel's government and defense apparatus. Some ministers and commanders worried about escalation and reprisals from Hezbollah, Iran, or allied interests. Others insisted that decisive action was overdue, especially given the existential threat posed by Hezbollah's missile arsenal. The author argues that networking intelligence outfits, the military, and political actors had to coordinate covertly, sometimes bypassing usual chains of command to maintain secrecy. Critically, the book also addresses the broader consequences. Nasrallah's death did not mean Hezbollah vanished. A new leadership structure emerged. Some operations claim it also spurred asymmetric retaliation, rocket fire, drone attacks, escalation in southern Lebanon. But more importantly, the psychological impact was substantial. Israel's rivals had to reassess just how deep its reach had become. If a bunker several stories underground in a crowded residential district could be detected and destroyed, how safe was any hardened target? That shift in perception is part of what the author sees as the mission's long shadow. On style, the book is readable and paced. It balances technical detail on bombs, sensors, infiltration techniques with human stories, agents' risks, moral dilemmas, the gamble of timing. It doesn't always linger long on historical backstory. The author assumes readers have a working familiarity with the Israel-Hezbollah Iran axis that makes the interior paragraphs relatively short and direct, as you requested. The transitions are smooth, from intelligence gathering to infiltration, planning to the final strike to aftermath and fallout. In measuring the book, its greatest strength is its ability to make the clandestine feel immediate, to let us imagine agents creeping through alleys, bombs guided below, cameras watching, and seconds ticking. It gives a coherent narrative to what would otherwise be a fragmented mosaic of leaks, statements, and speculation. But its weaknesses lie in the parts where evidence is thin. Some operations described are almost cinematic, which is not a criticism in itself, but more a warning to readers. Be cautious about treating every dramatic detail as confirmed fact. Secrets by nature resist full verification. Moreover, the book could have better engaged with counter-narratives or skepticism. For example, Hezbollah may have internal versions of what happened. Independent analysts might propose alternate infiltration routes or question whether the mission was as clean as claimed. The book's tone is confident, sometimes too confident about the precision of every move. Another tension is moral. Killing a political, military leader carries heavy risks, civilian casualties, escalation, blowback. The book does not shy from acknowledging those dangers, but its argument is tilted. The mission's cost was worth the long-term strategic gain. Readers may wish for more introspection on the ethical costs, especially in a densely populated urban setting. In sum, Mossad's secret mission, How Israel Took Down Nasrallah, is a compelling, suspenseful read. It offers a high-octane narrative of espionage and war, backed by resonance in public reporting. For viewers of this channel, I think it's valuable because it bridges the gap between raw intelligence leaks and strategic outcomes. It helps us see how intelligence, stealth, courage, technology, and national will intersect, and how a single mission, if successful, can tilt a regional balance. If you watch this video, I encourage you to read the book with a lens of cautious curiosity. Enjoy the narrative, but note where claims rest on leakers or covert memos, not public confirmation. And always remember, in the shadowy world of espionage, certainty is rare, and the spaces between known facts are as revealing as the facts themselves.